Time to go. Yay.
All right. Anytime, YouTube. Let's do it. Come on, YouTube. You can do it. Oh, there we go.
Doesn't want to do this.
It's hard to say. Yeah, whenever YouTube decides to wake. There, it's okay. Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Smudcast number 239. We had some voting, not voting problems, but everything on the voting. This was yesterday, I believe. No one wanted to do anything that I recommended from the voting, and the stuff I was going through were really bad. We had like 2 Xander Hall videos. I don't know how they made the list, but we're not going to cover Xander Hall anymore. There were a bunch of other things I didn't like. There was like a 30-minute one on trans whatever nonsense and some cartoon. I'm like, okay, this is not like Futurama stuff. I was like, this is not worth my time and other people's time. So didn't do that. But instead, we randomly asked people. I think Bad Boy Beta gave us this video. I thought, hey, this is a good one. Everyone loves Ghostbusters. It's about critiquing the story, which I think any of us can do relatively well. So we should have some good conversation. And if it goes by too quickly, we have other options as well. So hopefully the next round of voting we'll have some things that people actually want to cover, or things that don't bore me or have nothing to do with fun or stuff, because good God, there's so many bad YouTube videos out there that I just don't care. I just don't want to watch it. Like compared to like Maggie May Fish, which is totally insane.
I mean, we don't always have to do bad videos. Maybe we can do good videos and talk about why they're good.
Oh, no, I don't mind good or bad videos, but the ones that were on the list, like I went through every single one, and I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. This is boring. This is stupid. This isn't even fun. Like nothing about it was like had any value to me. And I was like, oh, geez, I don't want to put anyone through this. Just waste everyone's time. So anyway, this should be fine. I hope. So
We're about to find out.
Yeah, we've got an 11-minute video here. This was made, let me just check. This was made this month. So a few weeks ago.
Topical.
And it's by a guy named WhyItsGreat, which he has over 4,000 subs. So he's a relatively new YouTuber, according to that. He does a pretty decent job, lots of good edits. And he does some good storytelling arguments, which I appreciate. And he has little time indexes, so he breaks them apart, which I always appreciate as well. So should be good. I don't know if you guys remember Ghostbusters very well, but it's one of the classics. All kinds of great lines in there. Even the no-name actors you've never heard of have great lines too. It's pretty fun. So
I like to watch James Rolfe's reviews of classical movies, so that's where I picked up on it.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, so let's see, 11 minutes. This should take about an hour and a bit. Not too long. If we have enough time, we'll do a second video. Who knows? We'll find out. Anyway, let's get going.
Okay, let's talk about Ghostbusters.
Something strange in the neighborhood. Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters is one of my favorite films of all time. It's funny, it's quirky, and it has some genuine scares. I mean, especially for 9-year-old Dan Drake. The principal cast of Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, Ernie Hudson, Rick Moranis, Annie Potts, and Ellen Ripley are all brilliant performers. I mean, this cast is a genuine embarrassment of riches, and they all transform their characters into endearingly goofy people that we all just want to hang out and share a pizza with. Unlike other comedy films that try to cross genres with horror, Ghostbusters tells a grounded, relatable story that doesn't have to resort to silliness.
Okay. The comedy is very unique because there's so many comedic minds there, and they all have their time to shine. So I don't know if you would call that crossing genres, because clearly they're trying to get into the horror elements, but it's so lighthearted that it's not over the top, like, oh my God, someone's going to get butchered and sawed in half or something like that. It's more or less scaring people for the sake of it and body possession, I guess. I don't know what to call that.
There's very little horror in Ghostbusters. It's really more focused on the comedy.
Right. And the
It's not until
individual.
the gatekeepers start turning up. That's when it starts getting a bit dark. That's like very late.
Yeah, I mean, like Ghostbusters has a horror, just kind of like funhouse horror. Oh, here's a ghost! Boo! Ah! Now let's watch these three doofuses try to catch it while wrecking this hotel room, complete to trash.
It's like Three Stooges meets Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's almost perfect.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as a kid, this stuff is awesome. Like, it's just so much fun to watch. And even the second one, which people didn't like as much, it felt very samey, and I liked it anyway. So I don't know why it wasn't as fun, but I thought it was great.
I like the second one.
Yeah, and the cartoons that came after were pretty good too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and it's a shame they never were able to make that third one, and that no other Ghostbusters movies ever came out, ever.
Yeah. Shame, really.
I wonder if there were scripts. There were probably scripts that never saw the light of day. Though.
There was tons. They used one of the scripts for the video game, didn't they?
Oh, they did.
Yes, I think they did.
Wow. Apparently, the video game was pretty decent. Was that the results?
Yeah. People literally call it the third Ghost. Yeah.
Oh, that was the 3D real time one, right?
Yeah, the over the shoulder shoot 'em up.
Yeah.
Right. It was like in a
one
town.
One of the funniest pieces of trivia to me.
Hello.
Hi, bad boy.
What's going on?
One
of the funniest pieces of trivia to me about Ghostbusters is that I believe one of the Ghostbusters that played one of the live action Ghostbusters played the CGI Garfield's voice. And
Bill Murray.
Was the voice. Yeah. And then for the animated Garfield voice actor, he was also the animated Ghostbuster. So it's like, all right, I guess that Ghostbuster just is Garfield.
Yeah. Yeah, God, he was in that with like Ghostbusters and just wanted to kill himself.
Yeah, and regarding the Ghostbusters video game, they before Harold Ramis died, he and Dan Aykroyd considered that to be the third movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know they were trying to get a third movie made, but it never took off for whatever reason. I don't remember hearing the story about it though. So if that's the case,
you have to remember they had a falling out, didn't they?
Yeah. I remember back in the 80s, they made a Ghostbuster game for like the Commodore 10 or something like that. And it was cool. Like you had upgrades. You could like basically an RPG. You could buy upgrades for your car. One of them was like a vacuum that while you were driving, you could suck in ghosts. And then it had a side-scrolling element. It had all these different...
Yeah, that was basically a nicer version of the shitty Atari one.
Really? Oh, it was fun.
Congratulations, you have finished a fantastic game.
It was cool. I thought it takes a long time to play because you have to get so much money to buy extra equipment. But I thought, hey,
the biggest issue with that game was that you would have to wait for the Zool building to be glowing so that you'd be allowed to travel to it. Then you have to sell the upgrades for your ghost busting so that you would have upgrades for getting up the stairs. And you had to travel up like, I swear it was like 100 floors. And you would have to like leave ghost food for them to be distracted so that they don't kill you by touching you once. And then you go up the stairs, and then when the screen scrolls, the ghosts scroll up with you. So as soon as the food is off the screen, they come and get you, and it's over. There's like no way to get up the stairs. You have to be Batman to beat that game.
Okay. See, I didn't even get that far.
I know exactly what game you're talking about.
I know.
It's just the stairs portion was impossible, and for some reason Ernie Hudson wasn't in it. I guess they didn't have Brown to color him, so there was only 3 Ghostbusters. I swear to God.
Oh.
I swear to God.
That's right. He wasn't in it. They only had 3 Ghostbusters.
Yeah, but that was like every Ghostbusters game. Like, I swear there's only one Ghostbusters game with Ernie Hudson in it, and that was the recent one that came out a few years ago on PlayStation.
All right, okay. I think Giga Man is coming. Is he there? Where is he? He's slowly getting here. We'll wait on him. It's okay. We'll just keep going.
Or parody.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, of course not.
It's a legitimately great movie. I mean, duh, we don't have to be told. Ghostbusters doesn't suck. But here's the thing. It kind of should. Here's a list of things, just off the top of my head, that most stories have that result in a successful movie.
Okay. All right. So when we talk about these elements in stories, we're talking about a standard progression of a protagonist who has a plot, who has proper motivation, proper goals, proper flaws, and they go through all these jumps, all these hoops, all these elements of growth, if you will. So the thing I have a problem with is the active characters who face like every character is either being acted upon or they're doing the action. So whether the character is active or passive is kind of like, all right, well, so long as they have the other elements, it doesn't really matter. And we could actually apply this to Ghostbusters as well. So we can just see his argument right now. But the thing with these rules is once you understand them, like, okay, we need a character to grow. Why? To identify with them. Why? So that we understand their feelings. The story is not about their feelings and their personalities. It's about having fun, watching a bunch of guys try to start a business and get in over their heads. It's that level of entertainment. Plus, it's a comedy. It's not this serious drama where everything is supposed to be a bunch of serious people in the real world. It's a bunch of goofballs, really, and everyone's just sort of like, we're gonna attack and go get some ghosts with these nuclear power plants on our back, and you know they just shoot everything. They blow up. They nearly blow up that hotel, and everyone.
I would say the only one that's taking it seriously is Ernie Hudson's character. I mean, he's not. I mean, I'm just saying, like, he's not a scientist. He's not, a goofball. He just wants a steady paycheck, as he says in the movie.
Right. And
he's the only one that's taking this seriously.
He
doesn't even believe half the stuff that these guys are talking about either.
He is the straight man amongst all the other goofballs in this story. He's just a guy.
Yes.
Which is kind of great because he just shows up in the second or third act. And he's like, all right, you guys are giving me a paycheck? Great, I'm in. Whatever you believe in, that's what I believe in. So
yeah, and originally it was supposed to be Eddie Murphy.
Oh, that
it was going to be. It was going to be. It was going to be. Yeah, he did. It was going to be Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, and Eddie Murphy.
So the funniest thing just happened in my head. I was thinking of Ernie Hudson in a serious role, and I thought of Oz. And then when you said he was replaced with Eddie Murphy, I imagined Eddie Murphy in Oz. The prison drama, not the fairy tale.
Right.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy turned down this movie to do the first Beverly Hills Cop movie.
Okay, all right. Well, he was in demand.
Good career move there.
Yeah, it's not like he decided to do like trying to think of a 1980.
Wild West with Will Smith.
Yeah,
turn down the Matrix.
Like yeah. He picked one good comedy series over another comedy series, so it worked out.
It was not a devastating move.
No,
it wasn't like he chose Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Well, there were plenty of great movies from the 80s that I'm glad we have the diverse nature of them, just because every year there was something cool coming out. And to get all these actors, like high-paid actors, into one film is probably not the best route, because these films were not that, the budget wasn't that big. I mean, back in the day it probably was in retrospect, but
yeah,
a lot of the great films weren't that expensive to make. So I'm glad they did well. I'm glad they were written well. I'm glad they were put together well. And all the classics like Goonies, like even the weird ones like Goonies and Gremlins and Chucky, like those are just weird flicks with their own genre, with their own demographic or fans, if you will. So I'm glad those films existed. I can't really see those happening nowadays at all.
Don't forget Leprechaun.
Sad to say.
You can't forget Leprechaun.
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Easily. You know what? It's so easy. I've done it again.
On what again?
Exactly.
All right. So desire and goal is plot. Flaws is character growth. Active characters, so active or passive, whether they're round or flat. A singular threat, clear conflict is also a plot and or antagonist. And they do actually get that. It just gets figured out later in the movie.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, it's still a clear conflict. Fighting ghosts.
Yeah.
Busting ghosts. That's the conflict.
Not according to this guy.
Yeah.
Not according to this guy. You'll see. You'll see.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I kind of have a feeling I know where he's going to go with some of these.
Right.
So.
Oh yeah.
Plus, there's lots of implied, not sexual comedy, but just sexual scenarios, which I thought was mature for its time without going the sexual route. So there's scenes where he's getting his fly pulled up by some. I think it was a dream, I believe he was having, of his zipper.
They explained it was a dream sequence.
Right, and what's her name being possessed by whoever, and she's like,
it was a ghost.
Yeah, she's all sensual. She's like, "Hello there." Okay. And Bakeman's like, yes, thank you. I will come."
Also, in I always like in that scene where Signora Weaver gets grabbed by the chair. One person's hand quite clearly grabs one of her breasts.
Oh yeah, she's being groped like crazy.
Yeah, it's like, well, I'm only here once. That intern got his paycheck.
If a movie sucks, odds are they skipped one of these principles. But Ghostbusters really doesn't have any of that. The characters we meet at the beginning of the movie, sure, they have a desire, but it's to start a business. And they complete it like 16 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, because the setup of a business isn't the end goal.
For it take an hour?
Yeah, so that's
but the setup of the business is the first step of their plan.
So
to bust ghosts.
This is what's called a plot point. It's not their end goal. They just don't know what their end goal is because they're like, we're going to open a business and then stuff's going to happen. We're going to get clients. We're going to work the job. We're going to pay our taxes, et cetera, all these things. So we assume these basic setups.
It's like when you open a restaurant. Opening the restaurant isn't the end goal. It's to make a successful business.
Right. It's the same with Mulan, right? She's going to go fight the Huns, and she does. But to get there, she has to train, and then she has to fight with her friends, and they got to become a mobile unit, and then they fight the Huns. But we don't know what that means or how that's going to end. So there's lots of stuff happening, which we can imply what the goal is. Victory would be the goal. Obviously, to start a business, the goal is to be successful. So it's not that hard to grasp. We don't need it spelled out. That's what's great about this film. We don't need everything spelled out. We get it. They're trying to open a business. One of them is a schmuck from university who gets fired, I believe. The other two guys are like, they're not doing so well, so they decide to jump into the realm of entrepreneurship with this guy. And
I think they all got fired, didn't they?
Yeah, all three of them got fired because they tried to say there are ghosts, and the university is like, that's scientifically inaccurate. Clearly, you three shouldn't be teaching students.
Plus, I don't think they wanted to fund as much money to them anymore.
Yeah, it's like a number.
One of the reasons.
They essentially went into busting ghosts out of spite.
Well, it was really more like Venkman's idea. It's like, hey, let's do this. Let's open our own business and make money. It was really kind of his idea.
Yeah.
And
so
Ray and Egon, they just had the materials. They had the materials and the will to do it.
Yeah, because Dan Aykroyd's character, they use all of his inheritance to buy
a third mortgage. Everybody has a third mortgage.
So that's what's called a setup. So you're setting up. There's all these stakes involved. What do they do if they fail? And they're all geared. This is what happens when you go into not necessarily entrepreneurship, but a business, a brick and mortar business. You're buying real estate or you're renting real estate. You're setting up shop. You're getting all your equipment. You're taking out loans. This is what people do. This is how they buy a house. Yeah. This is how they rent out a room, whatever the case may be. So this is all stuff. It's like, we know what's going on. We don't need it spelled out. Even though they say, I'm doing my third mortgage. We got to do this and that. We got to start.
That's the last of my auntie's inheritance. Oh, don't worry about it. You didn't need it anyway. I think that's the line, because I think Dan Aykroyd's character's like looking really like shell shocked. How much?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that's the problem. It's not the end goal. So I don't know why he's brought this point up.
Right.
Yeah.
After that, the goal then just becomes to, bust some ghosts.
Yes. That's called running a business.
I know. They end up saving Ripley and the city from marshmallows. But I don't think that really counts, because that goal doesn't drive the plot for a majority of the movie.
It doesn't need to.
The busting the ghost thing
does. Yeah, busting ghost drives the plot, because otherwise it'd be blokes sitting in the firehouse busters.
So when he talks about driving the plot, he's talking about character motivation, which is part of the plot. So you need two things in a plot.
Is making money.
Yeah, opening a business.
Yeah.
I'm opening a business to make money. I need to survive. This is how I make money. So that's what a plot is. It's a goal with motivation. And he's sort of either not understanding what a plot is, or he's not understanding what the characters are doing, which is strange.
Is he just saying because there's no end of the world threat prophecy sort
I was
going
to say, it sounds like his complaint is that there's no clear antagonist. And when I say antagonist, that doesn't necessarily have to be a person or a creature. It could also just be a crisis, an overall crisis. And I think he's saying that maybe he's just not saying it explicitly, but I suspect that's his issue.
Yeah. It feels like he's going, who is the Ghostbusters Joker? Like, if Ghostbusters the Batman, who's their Joker to fight against? Like, no, it's not like that. They just bust random ghosts.
Yeah, there are plenty of elements in a story which get developed and get revealed as the story goes on. So that's pretty common. Mm-hmm. Whether the author has planned that out beforehand doesn't really make much of a difference, although usually good stories have this figured out, so the audience is informed at the appropriate time. If he says, I need to know Zool from the first 10 minutes, that's why they're opening up a ghost-busting store or business, it's like, okay, that's interesting, but why would you do it then? Like, why not reveal that later on? What's wrong with the way it's set up?
Yeah, because it feels like with Ghostbusters, it feels like a natural thing of like they start off small and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Exactly.
It's like, wow, we've got to step up. If they started doing the Ghostbusters thing because they fought against Zool straight away, it'd be a bit like, well, this isn't Ghostbusters, this is stopping Zool, and there'd be no reason for them to continue. Zool is just a stepping stone, and Gozer, they're all just stepping stones. They Ghostbusters. It's like we've just got to get better and better because we just want to stop all ghosts.
Right. So the stakes have to get higher. The conflict has to get higher. That's pretty natural in stories. So it doesn't really matter whether the main antagonist is introduced or even has much of a character. Because again, the point of this story is comedy. We don't really need necessarily an antagonist for that to work. If we're talking about a traditional growth of a drama, then sure, we would want to know who the main opposition is, what their name is, what their background is, etc., etc. I don't know anything about Gozer aside from she's this weird looking chick who shoots lightning out of her fingers. I can't. What did she do? I don't even remember what the point was.
She's just
into the world scenario, I think.
Yeah.
Like you choose to form the destroyer of worlds, and one of the characters thinks of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man because he's so cute and cuddly. He's cute and cuddly. He wouldn't hurt a fly. Just like, which is where the comedy
Stay
part
Puft
comes
Marshmallow
in.
Man is like the Majin Buu of Ghostbusters. I love him.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, Ghostbusters doesn't need like a central antagonist. It's just the busting ghosts. We're more interested in them fighting different ghosts than we are them fighting a singular enemy. It's just that when Gozer and Zool and everything turn up, it's a bit like, okay, right, shit's got serious. We're going to have to, It's
if anything, the mayor of the city is more their. this mayor of the city is more their antagonist than Gozer.
No,
there's also one other person that's kind of their antagonist too.
Yeah, it's
and he does get mentioned in this video.
Oh boy.
Well, no, actually not the character, but you'll see what I mean.
Oh.
All right.
Nor is it motivated by character growth, because, well, the characters don't grow. These guys and gals
They do grow.
are pretty much fully formed from the outset.
Okay, so anytime there's a big choice that's being made, it has to be properly set up. So when they say we're going to go into business, that's set up. We know why they're doing it. It's more of a personal development from a perspective of someone deciding a new path in life, which is very similar when you're talking about personality growth or personal development in a story, because a person has to go from A to B. This happens so quickly because we just are introduced to these two genius scientist people. I don't know if what's his face, not Egon, but Venkman is I don't know. Is he just an enthusiast? Like, what is he exactly?
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, he claims he's a scientist, but I wouldn't say he's as smart as Egon or Ray.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly not as smart as Egon.
Right. And Ray is kind of...
con artist.
Well, yeah, right. He's a con
Yeah.
artist. And Ray is just... yes, awesome. Let's do ghost things. Like, okay. And he's not stupid. So...
Ray's more of like a grease monkey. I mean that like in a positive way. Like he maintains the car, and you know.
Right. So they're sacrificing all their finances and everything they've got just to do this job. That should involve a bit more conflict, but there is that scene where they decide to do it, and he's got that bottle of, I think it's Jack Daniels or whatever. And Ray's like takes a swig and he starts talking about, we got to do this and this and this and all these things have to happen. And they sort of just, okay, that's the moment when they make the choice. So that's kind of the miniature. I wouldn't say the climax, but they're treating it like a climax because that's where they change. That's where they decide to make their choice. And
it's almost like a parody of a character arc.
They're setting themselves up. Yeah. They're setting themselves up for, oh my God, the stakes keep going up and up and up, and something better happen, and they don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, but it's also the fact that at the start, when they meet their very first ghost, they do sort of run away. And they're not
they didn't know what they were doing.
And then literally when the meeting Gozer and Zool and it's like the end of the world, they literally go, "Yep, let's do this," and like stand their ground. So it's a bit like they have grown as characters, as in like. They're not frightened of it, as in like as frightened of the ghost as they were at the start, because it was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Plus, not really knowing what they're doing to becoming very competent at whatever it is that this is.
Not knowing
in
what
this
they're
context,
doing
it would be busting ghosts.
Yeah.
Plus, I think they realize that like when they confront Gozer at the end, I think they kind of realize this is all or nothing at this point. We're the only ones that are capable of stopping this. We have the technology and stuff like that. We're the only ones that can do this.
Yeah, but
they created the technology.
But to see them going from struggling with the ghost at the start, to seeing them just all stand on the line, like going, yeah, we can beat these, we can do it, and everything like that. It is a growth of character. It shows like they become competent, they trust each other, they know what each other's going to do, and it's like So there is growth.
I wouldn't say it's a personal one because there's not much we know about the characters aside from them making a choice, and they're down on their luck or they get fired, so they have to do something about that. it's a plot choice. I don't know how to describe that. So it's
still growth in a certain way. It's not like they're just flat characters. It's not like they were amazing dealing with ghosts at the beginning. They knew exactly what they're doing. It was awesome. They easily beat all the ghosts, and then at the end they just beat them again. It's shown a clear progression of skill.
They have that montage in the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
Where they're busting ghosts.
Right.
Yeah.
Where they're getting from zero to known status, they're getting some popularity. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And some notoriety too.
Yeah.
And some infamy for the amount of property damage they've done.
Yeah. Which gets brought up in the second movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they get canned.
Yeah. Which is kind of strange, but okay.
I think it was kind of like more of like a once the dust settled, they're like, hey, you guys caused like a crap ton of property damage here.
Nobody has Ghostbusters insurance.
Until
the video game. I'm not even kidding. They do.
Yeah, but definitely, yeah. But also, there's also growth between Bill Murray's character and Nori Weaver's character, because
yes,
he doesn't actually get her at the end of the film. As in, like, it turns out, obviously, in Ghostbusters 2 didn't work out, but he's not really that successful with her, to be honest.
Well, you assume they get together at the end of this movie, and then you get to the second movie, and they've broken up again.
Yeah, true. But with this one, it's kind of a bit like he does his usual stuff, and it doesn't work on her, and then he changes his tactics. Not changes his tactics, but it's like goes like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be the way I am with her and stuff like that.
Yeah. He grows as a person.
Hence why he's able to resist her in her seductive form at the end. He's like, no, I can't. Yeah, I can't really do that. The older Venkman would probably just jump straight in, unzipped trousers, and gone to town.
Well, I don't know. I think a woman hovering in the air and growling at you. I think a lot of guys would go, you know what? Maybe this isn't such a good idea.
You've obviously not been on Twitter for that long. But no,
I don't have a Twitter account, thank God.
But before she did that, he was before she started doing all that weird stuff, when it became clear that he was like resisting and everything. So, but anyway, that's just my point. We can.
Yep.
If anyone else has got anything else, or should we continue?
We should continue.
Yeah.
You know, you don't act scientist. You're more like a game show host.
They have flaws, yes, but the flaws are goofy.
No kiss. Yes, because it's a comedy.
They don't need to learn a lesson by the end of the movie. They don't need to change. They are who they are the entire time. They're business owners who wait for the phone to ring. That's right. They're passive characters.
Okay, this is not what a passive character. I swear this
passive characters. They're static characters.
This guy is, I don't know, maybe he just read a literary document or I don't know, maybe a book. And then, okay, they're not doing anything, therefore they're passive. It's like, that's not what a passive character is.
Plus it's the first day that they went into business. First day they opened their business.
Right.
They're still waiting on a phone call.
If you
they do marketing.
If you watch a film,
they did marketing. But...
takeaway. Okay, watch a film about takeaway delivery drivers or something like that. Are they passive characters because they sit and wait for someone to order the food? It's like, no, it's just how those businesses work.
This is like saying you're at your job, you're ready and willing to work, but there's nothing to do because it's a slow day or whatever. But you're still doing your thing. You're still there as asked.
Mm-hmm.
So they have opened up shop. They're waiting for clients to come. This is like any store. Let's say, I don't know, a bakery. It's not open yet, but you're getting everything ready.
Or a restaurant.
Yeah, you're doing prep.
Ringing up to book a table. It's
right.
Like, yeah, cool.
Someone's got to man the phone. You're still working, but you're not actively doing anything on a contract basis. This is a very nitpicky sort of thing, and he's tying it into character activity or passivity, which is just not how you describe character growth.
Okay, they're not going out of their way to find ghosts, as in
right.
I don't know the reason why they don't. I'm not sure if they actually give a reason why they're not actually out actively hunting. But then again, they're not ghost hunters.
Well, they can't go out without the phone because then they would have to change the song, and you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Who are you gonna call?
Yeah. Plus, New York is a big city.
Ghostbusters.
You know, New York is a big city too. Like, imagine them driving all night looking for ghosts. You know.
Yeah, I mean, they're like termite exterminators. You gotta call them for them to come. They're not just gonna come to you.
They're exterminators. Yeah, Ghostbusters, the ghost exterminators. They
That
fumigate
would actually
your
be
ass.
funny if they made like a TV show. That'd be a funny basis for one of the episodes. The phone line stops working.
Yeah. So they have to venture onto social media, and they find it's a hellhole, and they're like, "Well, maybe we should let the ghosts destroy the world."
Stay Puff Marshmallow Man.
Everybody through Twitter.
Yeah, you got
Oh,
Stay
God.
Puff Marshmallow Man trolling everybody on Twitter.
No, literally, you just see Venkman just look up and you just see his fairies. He's like, you know something? Maybe Gozer and Zool are right. Maybe we should just end the world.
They actually, if I remember correctly, they actually made a joke about this. Not the social media thing, but in the it was one of the comic books where Ray gets a call and he's the only one that goes out, and he shows up at a wedding, and he's like, "Wait, why am I here?" And one of the I think it was like one of the groomsmen points at the bride and he says, "She's a soul-sucking demon, and he's making a huge mistake marrying her. You got to do something, man." And he's like, "But she's not a demon. She's not a ghost. I'm not reading any activity." It's like it's like you called the wrong person, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's
And then the bride's like, "Screw it, let's just go bowling," and she throws her bouquet up into the air and leaves.
That's great.
But yeah, someone
That's
should
really
do that,
good.
like social media, ghost busting or something like that. That's a pretty funny idea.
Who gonna tweet Ghostbusters and then cancel them immediately because they busted a black ghost? I don't know. Yeah.
Black Ghost Lives Matter. Ghost Lives Matter.
Undead lives.
Undead Lives Matter. Hashtag
Dead
If
lives
I'd
matter.
been a black ghost, you'd have just shot it. What are you on about here?
You can't kill him again. He's already dead.
Ghost brutality.
Busting brutality.
The ghost is over there robbing a liquor store, and you're going to be worried about the race of the ghost.
Yeah, I'm
We
noticing
can't
excessive
bust
busting
it.
here.
It's the ghost of a slave. We can't bust it. We've got to pay him reparations. You're like, oh my god. Oh.
I think we should move on before we get too out of control here.
Yeah, I think we should as well.
I think it's too late for that one.
Yeah.
It's a slippery slope from here.
But it's funny.
That is also true.
All right, let's go.
Which means they don't make things happen. Things happen to them.
Yeah, but
They get a
They're
call,
the ones that created
and
the business,
go
though.
bust
They
the
place
ghost.
them.
yeah.
Yeah, I see what Smudboy's saying, that he's being
They
picky
get a visit from the
now.
EPA, and conflict
because it's like they're the
ensues.
ones that
Alright.
set up this situation. So it's like
Yeah.
they're passive after that, because that's only because that's how the business works, though.
It's kind of like I have a sign and I stand outside, talk to me. It's like, well, you're being passive because you're waiting for people to talk to you. It's like, yeah, but I'm actively.
Yeah, it's like, but you put the sign.
Yeah, I'm.
Like, you placed yourself in a situation where people would be obligated to do some form of business with you.
Right, as opposed to me.
If the money fell into their laps, then it would be passive character.
Right, so if I
Taking out a third mortgage, I don't think makes you a passive character.
no, so if I want to, I don't know, whatever. I want to have an argument with someone about whatever. This guy would like, well, unless you're actively tapping people on the shoulder and asking to have an argument, you're not an active protagonist. Like, well, what if I just post online, I want someone to argue with me, and I wait for about 2 milliseconds. So, I mean, is that a passive protagonist because I'm waiting for someone to reply to me?
Isn't that how Twitter got started? I want someone to argue with me.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Well, actually,
that
the thing
was
is, the
literally
call
the first-
to
that was the first
action
tweet.
is their, but the call to action is their own activity.
Yeah. It's like a passive character would be like in an RPG where your character's doing literally nothing but like their own life, but other people come and ask them to help out on their quest for no other reason, but it just falls into
But
their
the thing
lap.
is, the characters are responsible for the status quo because they're the ones that set it into motion.
Right, and if I remember correctly, I might have to go back and check, but I remember the hotel manager on their first job, they said they've never had a problem with this ghost before. Like, they've acknowledged the ghost, but they said, yeah, we've never had a problem with this thing before until now. And they do, I think they explain either in the movie or in the video game that things are escalating because of things that were set in motion like years ago. What's his name? Shandor. Yeah, Shandor. Yeah, it was in the game. They explained that things were set in motion. Like the ghosts are becoming more and more aggressive because this event is drawing near.
Yeah, basically, I think it's explained that because Gozer is coming, all the ghosts are freak out a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep
I
going.
wouldn't say the Ghostbusters are passive characters.
No.
So.
Or I come back with a... You go get a court order.
Ripley gets possessed, and the EPA blow up their building while unleashing a bunch of ghosts on the city of New York. They get thrown in jail, and the Ghostbusters, through the whole movie, have to deal with thing after thing happening to them. And then, at the end, they have to go and clean up the mess that, well, they kind of helped make. I think you could make a good case. But the real threat in Ghostbusters is actually the Ghostbusters themselves.
God damn, this guy sounds like the mayor.
Normal eliminators in New York are the cause of it all.
I mean, at the beginning of the movie, the ghosts are kind of just a minor nuisance. It's not until the Ghostbusters show up and catch the attention of the EPA that things really get blown out of proportion. Which leads me to the antagonist situation. The Ghostbusters face off against ghosts, government regulation, and political bureaucracy.
You will have saved the lives.
You ruined
millions of registered voters.
For an hour and 25 minutes before they even meet Ghost,
tell that's not a Democrat,
who, by the way, they defeat in less than 10 minutes.
Like in registered voting.
This movie really should suck. It's a supernatural movie about opening and operating a small business, which stars former sketch comedy improvisers that sit around and wait for the phone to ring.
Janine, any calls?
No.
Any messages?
No, Dr. Venkman.
Type something, will you? We're paying for this stuff.
Show no interest in growing as characters, and whose major antagonist for the majority of the film is government regulation. So why? Why does it work so
That's a
well?
relatable
So much
villain.
that against it.
Yeah.
Well, I've been up all night, but I think I cracked it. Unlike pretty much all other supernatural films, Ghostbusters is positive and uplifting.
That's a big one. And it's
Number
funny.
two, the film is grounded in reality. Let's take these one by one. Ghostbusters works because the characters are people we like. They're people doing very relatable things like working.
I think he means the setting might be contemporary.
No, and I get what he means.
Yeah.
It's got like
yeah. Go on, you guys.
It's like grounded in that the Mario Brothers movie was grounded.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, Dan Aykroyd wanted to set the movie like in a parallel dimension, and they were like the Ghostbusters were like hopping between dimension to dimension, busting ghosts or something like that. That was like the original premise. I think that was like the original premise.
I wonder what it would have been. I actually wonder what it would have been like. I'm gonna let you finish.
No. I was just trying to say after what I've got told by Bad Boy Beta about going to Dimension, you can understand why Dan Aykroyd went into so incredibly strong alcohol, can't you? Because he obviously was drinking it early on.
I think that was like the original premise of the movie. I think, if I remember correctly.
That would have been fucking terrible.
No, I actually almost want like a Hanna-Barbera style Ghostbusters cartoon.
There is a Hanna-Barbera style Ghostbusters cartoon. It's called
There
Real
is?
Ghostbusters.
There are two of them.
No, I mean like
The Real Ghost.
Ghostbusters and the Extreme Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah.
No, but I'm talking about the Ghostbusters with the giant monkey from the late '60s.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I think they bought the rights because that one existed first, and then they bought the rights or something like that.
No, they couldn't get the rights. That's why they had to.
Oh, they couldn't get the rights. That's it.
Yeah, so they had to change.
So that's why Ghostbusters is one word instead of two words.
Yeah,
or something like that.
That's clever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get sued for that, really?
No.
You would never get away with that now.
No, because
especially not today.
They called it the real Ghost. That's what they called the animated.
Yeah, that's what they called the animated show. To avoid like copyright.
Yeah.
Something.
And then they changed it to Slimer and the Ghostbusters. Right.
And there was the Extreme Ghostbusters, which was like early 2000s, late 90s.
Nowadays you wouldn't get away with that. You'd have to call them like anti-ghost individuals or something like that.
Anti-ghost individuals.
You'd have to figure it out, man.
Anti-dead removers.
Incorporeal cleaners.
Yeah.
I actually like that one. Incorporeal cleaners.
Incorporeal cleaners.
And you got to make the leader a corporal. You got to make the leader a corporal, though. He's like a. Oh, that'd be great.
We'll talk about this later. Okay.
we got to make plans.
He's a veteran. You got to make the leader a war veteran, and he has to have an eye patch.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Just make him look like G.I. Joe.
No, he has to have 2 eye patches.
All right, let's continue.
Yeah.
One for each eye.
Job, hanging out eating Chinese food. And all of this contributes to the movie's vibe. The laughs are light, situation-based, clever, sarcastic, and come from good-hearted, likable characters doing goofy and yet endearing things. But we can also sense a genuine care between the characters, the love they have for their city.
I love this town!
And a hope that good, hard-working people can rise above bureaucracy and find success. And even when the film takes a creepy turn, we're quickly reminded not to take it too seriously.
Do you have any Excedrin or extra strength Tylenol?
Contrast this with the 2016 version, and you can see within the first 10 minutes that the sharp wit and positive tone of the original is replaced by silliness.
Oh, ding dong.
Surface-level gags.
Whoa.
And even hostile character relationships.
You gonna give me a wedgie?
No, I think both of us pretty much feel you have enough stuck up your butt.
Now, those things don't necessarily make a bad movie. I mean, I
Yes, they
like
do.
silliness.
They do.
And
Yes,
I
they
love
do.
cats.
He likes this
But I
movie.
think the
he said.
failure of Ghostbusters
No,
2016
he likes those sort of
is
things.
that it failed to fit
No, he said he
within the
likes this
vibe of
movie.
the franchise.
2016 Ghostbusters.
And unlike Ghostbusters
wow.
2, which makes positivity a much more front and center theme. I mean, the entire plot surrounds pink, slimy ectoplasm that feeds off negativity and is ultimately defeated by positivity.
Mood slime.
What impresses me most about the positivity of the original is that it's not so overt. It doesn't have to call so much attention to itself. The positivity sneaks in. You find yourself smiling.
Is he talking about the
What
comedy?
is this?
Yeah, it's a comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay, he's saying why it should suck. Okay, so here's all the reasons why it doesn't suck. Okay. We know why it doesn't suck.
It's a good movie.
You need to explain.
It's funny.
You need to explain why you'd think it sucked. Or
We're
else
about
no reason to
3/4
make
of the
this.
way through right now.
No, he's saying
best
why
you-
it should suck, but why it doesn't. That's what he's saying. He's saying why it should suck, but here's why
Well,
it doesn't, despite that.
Yeah, well, that's great, but the reasons why it should suck, he's not really given actual anything why it should suck. Because everything
He's
that he
tried
said,
to. He tried to, but he was incorrect.
yeah, that's the thing. It's like because everything he said about why it should suck was just wrong because it. Okay, the reason why
I think the main issue
it's a horror
with what he was saying,
it's a horror comedy from '84, in a time when horror comedies were not very big, not very popular. So it was a big gamble. So it was also with I'm trying to think of reasons why it should. Really, the premise should have sucked. Really, the whole premise of it should have not succeeded. A horror comedy about 3 guys busting ghosts. or 4 guys busting ghosts. You know, it should have really sucked, but it didn't because of the way it was created and made and written and acted. So the only thing I could say is like the premise should have. This should have been a failure, but it wasn't because it was a well done movie. So that's as far as you can get with why a film
went into the movie in the first place.
One of the big things in his argument was when he incorrectly defined the characters as passive, and then a lot of the arguments after that incorrect assessment relied on that assessment. That's why that portion of the video was largely wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, there's no single antagonist. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so
because that's not what Ghostbusters is about, and films don't need to have a singular antagonist when it's something like that. I've seen a lot of films that don't have a singular antagonist.
Yeah, plus they were building up to Gozer as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like front and center. It wasn't front and center, but it was there. They were building up to it.
It's like Titanic. It's like, who's the antagonist of Titanic?
The iceberg.
The iceberg?
But the iceberg's not. But the iceberg's only comes in the last, couple.
If you look really closely at the iceberg, it has a dastardly mustache somewhere on it.
But what I'm saying is, it's like no one complained about there not being a major antagonist that Jack is fighting again, to defeat. It's like, okay. Cool, yeah, Rose's fiance maybe, but he becomes that's just another guy.
Well, when you're talking about a romance, which I think is what Titanic was pretty much about, the antagonist is
not saying that's a romance. Okay, well, this is a comedy. It doesn't need an antagonist.
Right. When we talk about
antagonist is usually any miscommunication that occurs between the characters themselves.
Well,
right?
Sure, but we see them as both antagonist and protagonist. We're talking about a love story, so you're always trying to woo the other person, and there's always something they don't like, or they don't care, or they're not into that other person. So they're antagonistic towards that other person. So that's the fundamental of it. But once you admit there's love, but you don't go for it, then there's tension. You're like, wait a second, you both love each other, but one of them is not admitting to it, or is scared. Then that's the next part of the story. So we have all these plot points of, boy meets girl, girl doesn't like boy keeps pursuing girl kind of likes guy. It just keeps going on and on and on. So that's the focus of the narrative. Whereas in this case, we have a series of plot points that lead up to a big baddie, which it didn't even need that. I don't think Ghostbusters needed that to happen. It just needed to be resolved in a way that everyone's like, oh, finally, we can stop doing our job for a good minute, call it a day, and go to sleep or whatever the hell they want to do, because it's been so exhausting. So we don't need to have Gozer or all these other things. We need to have conflict with the main characters that they resolve together, and whatever that is, it doesn't really matter. So
I want a Ghostbusters anime now. Man, I didn't think it was that bad.
That would work. Honestly, that would work.
I'm surprised there isn't, to be honest. I'm surprised that there isn't.
I actually kind of want an Angel Beats style one where it's just all really hot girls.
Well, you have stuff like Bleach, which is like the Afterlife Club, a bunch of dudes with swords, but because it's Japanese, they have to have swords and fight other dudes with swords that are also in the Afterlife Club or another Afterlife Club. You're like, okay, whatever. So there's lots and lots of stories of these people who have supernatural abilities related to the afterlife or whatever. So that's fairly common. But technology and supernatural, I know they're out there.
You don't see that much, but they are out there. Yeah, we just don't see it a lot.
Like Mushishi is not so much technology related; it's more or less a wandering monk dude who can communicate with spirits properly. And there's all kinds of spirits, and he's been doing it all his life, so he knows all about them. But nothing like Ghostbusters, yeah.
And you can't pinpoint exactly why, other than the fact that you enjoyed the movie. Everything works together to make the film feel genuine. Which leads me to the second point, realism. In the excellent essay by Lessons from the Screenplay, Michael shares a clip from director Ivan Reitman that explains what he calls
the domino theory of reality.
He says, as long as you take people step by step through a series of credible choices, you can start to believe that this sort of thing can happen. In writing the film, Reitman, Ramis, and Aykroyd rightly choose to ground the beginning of a film about ghosts in reality and even skepticism. After the cold open, the first thing we see is Peter Venkman getting creative with his own experiment to flirt with a woman.
Is it a star?
Getting creative.
It is a star. Very good.
We can then immediately see how claims of the paranormal can get exaggerated. By doing this, they're able to introduce other paranormal and even absurd aspects of the story slowly, one domino at a time.
Starting as parapsychologists and working in the university, I think it helped bring the audience from a place of what's real to what's unreal.
But perhaps the most brilliant thing about this movie is that it's actually a story about a startup business.
I always thought that
Okay, so this kind of argument is like saying we built up the setting so well, the other elements aren't as important, which is like, kinda, because you still have to set up the setting anyway. You still have to explain things anyway. And when you're delving into the supernatural, you have to set that up regardless. So step one, yeah, you're in reality. Oh, wait, there's ghosts. How do we set that up? How do we explain that? Okay, we have these researchers who are specialists who do this for a living. And it goes, wait a second, things are getting crazy. Why is this happening? Why are all our instruments going nuts? And then you get the conflict coming out in physical form, the eggs exploding from being cooked within their shell, the librarian, et cetera, and it keeps going on and on and on. But that's the film. That's how it goes. It's like, oh, there's a threat. We need to assemble a force to stop that. Let's go open a business, take advantage of that. And that's the story. That's pretty much the whole thing. And we get to the bigger and bigger threat. So, so long as you explain things to your audience and it makes sense, they're like, yeah, this is good. We don't need a story about a character growth or a character, down. Like, imagine if Venkman was like, I don't know, disturbed child and broken family, and he's, I gotta strive beyond my weaknesses and become a hero. It's like, okay, sure, you can do that. They could have done that. He could have grown as a mature adult and learned not to be a weird pervert for all this behavior. But
they kind of did that, like in the animated series. They kind of like went into like the backstories, like some of these characters. I don't know, for better or for worse. I think one of the episodes of the animated series, they reveal why Egon got into the paranormal is because he was scared by the boogeyman, who's an antagonist that they face in the TV show, and that's why that's why he got into the paranormal, is because of that. They explain that in the show, so.
Right, but that's the show's for kids, I believe, so you have to keep things relatively simple and non-adult, even though the language, if you guys read the scripts from JMS, the guy who wrote the stuff, there's lots of very complex words which have a very sexual adult nature, which, the censors couldn't figure that out because they never heard of these words, so they just assumed the words were, complicated scientific shit. But it was actually very, very erotic. So, fun stuff. Yeah. JMS did not like censors, so he had a lot of fun with them.
I love it when people mess with censors.
The movie should be a business story. It's three really smart guys who go into some business. It's just a very unusual business.
It paints busting ghosts as if it were glorified pest control. There are so many scenes devoted to the nuts and bolts of entrepreneurship. Rick Moranis throws a party as a business expense. Ernie Hudson says,
if there's a steady paycheck in it, I'll believe anything you say.
Even the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is a reference to corporate sponsorship. Beyond the realism that comes from grounding the story in business, there's also a legitimacy brought to the film by Dan Aykroyd's real-life obsession with ghosts, aliens, and all things X-Files.
That's not even relevant. No one knew. I had no idea who Dan Aykroyd was. I don't think anyone did at that point in time. The fact he is that way is kind of weird, but that has nothing to do with the
People knew about him back then. He was an SNL superstar back then.
Oh yeah, SCTV, SNL, yeah, sure, but I mean, that's just sketch
especially
comedy.
Blues Brothers.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
that's fine, but nothing to do with the paranormal.
No, not that specifically, but in terms of knowing him as a performer, it's like he had done a lot of stuff before that.
Yeah.
Not many people knew about his interest in the paranormal, but yeah.
How much of Ghostbusters came from your experience with your family, Dan?
Really, it was just sort of that basis of growing up that gave me the fluency and the currency to go and look in the journals and use everything that was there in the movie.
All of the supernatural and pseudo-scientific jargon in the movie is actually based on the real thing, written by guys who know that paranormal world inside and out.
Or you're talking about UFOs, spirits communicating with the dead, actual loop hauntings, or the Ghost of Flight 401, one of the most famous ghost stories ever, Don Repo, The Ghost of Flight 401. There have been 6 books on it. It is immensely entertaining, and that's why I'm a part of it.
Positivity and realism are the keys to why Ghostbusters doesn't suck, even though it probably should. Okay.
Because it's good.
It's entertaining.
It's funny.
It's entertaining. Yeah. It's well written. You've missed the point so hard.
Yeah.
He's focusing on the emotion that he thinks is positive, thus it's good. It's like, well, sure, but I could watch that and not get any emotion out of it and say, well, it's structured well, the plot progresses well, it makes sense, there's enough exposition to back up the setting, and that the fact that ghosts are a thing and the special effects are decent, and it all just works as a result of that build-up.
Yeah.
So
and they don't explain the technology either. They don't explain the nuts and bolts of it. They just build it.
It's like a what is it? A positron emitter? What the hell's the thing? The proton packs?
Positron collider.
Collider is something crazy.
Yeah,
like
proton packs. They don't even call them proton packs in the movie, in the first movie. Not until the second movie they call them proton packs.
It's a nuclear accelerator.
I think they did.
It wasn't
in the
really
first movie.
complex plot subject. You just
I think in the movie they didn't call them proton packs.
All we had to know is if you zap them, you win. You suck them, and then you're done. That's all we need. That's all we need to know. It's not like this Doctor Strange shit where we're not quite sure what's going on.
This thing busts ghosts. That's it. Nothing else.
But that is still what they are, even though they don't say it in the first movie.
Right. But they never say it on screen, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No. I get it. It's just, yeah.
So they take an interesting enough concept to wrap our attention, throw in the comedy of all these really good comedic actors, have them write a script that balances that out, so it's not all just constant ridiculous humor. And then throw in some straight men, throw in the government, throw in a escalating conflict of this ghost haunting in this building. Hey, guess what? You're entertaining people. You're taking them on a journey, and you're having a few laughs. Positivity, yeah, sure, comedy, but that's not all there is. There's a lot to Ghostbusters. So it's simply written well enough to be entertaining to the average audience goer. That's it. It's not complicated.
I don't think his points of why it should suck were strong enough. To be honest.
To be honest, his points for why it was good weren't that strong either. He was basically just like, here's why, because they're passive characters, which is wrong. And he's like, but that's okay because it made you feel good, which that's not why it's good.
Yeah, the movie's positive.
Busting makes you feel good, though.
Exactly.
Yeah. Guy.
Yeah.
So, it's...
I get the feeling he doesn't really know what he's talking about.
Yeah, and he claims he was up all night thinking of reasons why, which I seriously doubt.
Yeah,
he thinks he cracked it. He thinks he cracked it, guys.
It just felt like his points for why it sucked.
I think he listened to the song a bit too much, where it says "busting makes you feel good," and he's like, "Oh, that must be why the movie's good." It's like, no.
He's probably just sitting there going, "This song is so positive."
I got it. The mystery of an age has been
Ghost
solved,
ever ride
guys.
to death.
Yeah.
A light bulb just goes off above his head. It's like, I've got it.
I figured it out,
I think
boys.
I think that this is all dead cyst.
Dead.
Dead
cyst. This is dead cyst.
But yeah, I know he says Ghostbusters is good, and I'll agree with that. But when you're making a video like this to say Ghostbusters should suck, at least put things in where it's a bit like the concept in the 80s might not have been because it was probably it was really the first one to just do a comedy one about people setting up a business fighting ghosts. Like you know, it was the first movie to, I say, oh, it was the first movie to try this or try this. It was like using this sort of technology. It's like this all could have gone wrong, stuff like that. Not they were a bit. These characters are a bit passive, but they're not.
I like the structure of his videos. Like I like how he said he's like, okay, first let me explain why it was why it should not have been good. And now let me explain why it was good anyway. I like that idea. I actually think that's a really creative and cool idea. It's just that he didn't apply it well to this film.
Yeah. I also feel that
I think this guy could make a damn good video because of his structure.
Well, what blows my mind about this guy is he's got like 4,000 subscribers or something like that. This video has only got 20 likes, 1 dislike, and 4 comments. And this came out like 2 or 3 weeks ago. This video.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's really weird, and yeah, and I first heard about this video on Reddit. Believe it or not, he posted this on the Ghostbusters Discord, and one of the people on there argued with him. He says, "No, I think Venkman actually does evolve as a character. He grows. You know, he comes to care for this person, Dana Barrett, and then he responds back to him by saying." No, he doesn't grow at all. And that was pretty much it. It was like, oh, you're not even going to try to argue it. Okay. Good job. Yeah, kind of weird.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
in the last couple of...
at least he's not Doug Walker.
Ooh.
Yeah. At least he's not Doug Walker.
Yeah.
Wait, what did Doug say?
Doug Walker. That's Nostalgic Critic's real name.
No, what did Doug say anything about Ghostbusters? That's just.
I don't know. I just know the guy's a fucking nut job. That's all I know.
He's not still.
He's been a nut job since he fucking started.
Right.
Yeah, it's just that he used to be a little bit better at hiding it.
He's brought up some. Nostalgic Critics brought up some good points here and there over the years, but. You are right.
Some of Nostalgic Critics videos are damn good. It's just that in real life he's a nut.
Name 4 good points he's brought up. Go.
You're really gonna put me on the spot like this?
Yeah, no, I really am. Go on. 4. Go on. 4 good points.
Moving on.
I'm not counting anything, but it has got to 20 seconds now.
I actually used to when I was a kid. I used to watch all of Nostalgic Critics videos because I really liked them, but I don't know them off the top of my head.
Yeah, in the last 20 seconds of this video, he does like a stupid. This guy does a stupid gag. He does that. The librarian ghost, but it's actually him in his own house.
Oh.
And I just clicked off of it. I just stopped the video. I was just like, ugh.
That's gross.
Yeah.
Why would you do that to your own house?
Well, it's not. Well, no. He leaves his room and he turns the corner. He looks down the hall and he sees himself as a ghost floating in the air. And then I was just like, okay, that's just stupid. And I clicked off it. I didn't even watch the whole thing. I was like, that's stupid. That's cheap. He's even wearing the same shirt and pants. Like,
it's
you
cute.
didn't even
Leave the
try.
guy alone. Leave the guy alone. Come on.
Just because he's.
Hey, he made the video. He brought this on himself. All right, he brought this on himself.
I mean, was that one of those videos where he had to do the reenactments himself of scenes?
I don't know. I like I said, I stopped the video before it went even further. There's only 20 seconds left. We could watch it.
Now you're bullying him.
Hey, he made the video. He made the choice. All right.
Hold on. Just Someone just press play. Let's just do it. Someone just press play.
All right.
I'll do it.
I'm going.
Oh no! Oh no! It is Nostalgia Critic's house.
What? What's going on here?
No, it's not.
Don't forget to like
Fucking
and subscribe.
Oh my god.
Okay, that's enough of that.
Lame.
So worth it, wasn't it? That was worth it, wasn't it?
Wow.
Fuck
Sure.
you.
Wow. Wow.
Totally was.
Yeah.
Alright, that was it.
He's just being a fanboy. Leave the man alone.
Yeah, it's fine. If
Yeah,
it
it's
had been
fine.
like the state Nostalgia Critic, you'd have gone like jumped out the.
No, he
fucking
would have had
window
like
or
a
something.
5-minute conversation with the ghost,
Mhm.
like drawing the
Yeah.
joke out.
All right, well, we keep going with another video if you guys have anything else you want to watch, and that'll take roughly the same amount of time, so another 10-minute video, I imagine. If anyone has any suggestions, because
I got nothing.
yeah, this weekend was pretty shot. I mean, usually after
Hey, this
Maggie,
was my suggestion, okay?
no, that's fine. No, I liked it. Usually after Maggie Mayfish, we're
yeah,
pretty
good.
mentally exhausted, but in this case, the voting was just so bad that I was like, I
Yeah.
can't recommend anything on that list for anyone.
I have a feeling we're gonna have to punch whoever recommended those videos.
Did you see them? They were.
I never saw them.
Yeah, I love
I
how
watched-
it came down between. I love how it came down between demilitarization of the New Republic, which I watched that video by the way. John Tron's Nazi video or whatever the hell it was called.
Oh God.
And I was like,
Tron's still a
okay.
Nazi, even though Trump's gone. I'm like,
What?
Yeah.
That was a Xander Hall video.
I
so-
didn't watch that video. I've never watched a John Tron video.
That was a Xander Hall video where he's arguing that John Tron's a Nazi, and I'm like,
Oh, okay.
But he's
I
not.
don't know. I just saw the title. And I thought it was a John Tron video.
it's so dumb. Like I like Xander Hall is such a waste of time. He's so vapid and ramble. I would say he rambles. He just sort of says stuff, and you're like, what? Why are like?
I have a.
That's rambling.
I don't have a 10-minute. I have an 8-minute, and it's in the crew discussion.
Can you post it?
It's not the Happy Feet one. Yeah, I'll just post it again.
What is it?
It's 10 subliminal messages in famous Disney movies, and I watched a couple of it. We can cover it.
Okay.
yeah, sure,
is,
go on.
is one of them the penis castle from Little Mermaid?
No, that's not.
Wow, what?
I know. I know what. I
Wait,
know
you don't
what
know
he's
about that,
talking about.
Smud?
It's
You don't know?
not that
You don't know
one.
about that?
It's
Oh
not
yeah, that's right.
On the
Penis.
original, on the original VHS release of Little Mermaid, if I'm not mistaken, if you look real closely at Triton's castle, there's very clearly a dick in there.
There's two of them.
It
There's
looks
two
like a
big dicks.
dick.
There's two great big dicks.
Looks like it, yeah. But
Why are you looking closely at dicks?
Yeah, what the fuck?
shut up.
Anyway,
Hey, why not?
Oh God, CBR. Oh no.
it's
Oh
CBR.
God, no.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Clinically brain dead retardation. Oh no.
Anyway, we watching another one or what?
Yeah, we're doing 8 minutes long. Shouldn't take too long. Here we go.
We'll see about that.
One of the things that Disney is praised for is how it delivers a message in its movies. A lot of the time, these themes are hidden behind the plot, glitz, and glamour. But when you know what the movie's about, it really enhances your appreciation for the story. Here are our 10 hidden meanings in Disney films. Finding Nemo, giving your child freedom. Finding Dory was released this year,
Really?
and while it delivered on a fun little adventure film with a heart, it didn't have anywhere near the emotional depth as the original. Finding Nemo was more than a quest. It was an emotional journey of self-discovery that Marlin and Nemo go on, and how that affects their relationship as father and son. The film has three fathers: the overprotective Marlin who shelters
I don't think that
Nemo,
was very
Gil, the willing
subliminal.
Defoe fish
Kinda
that gives
surface
Nemo
value.
too much freedom, and
Kind
Crush.
of-
When
Yeah.
Crush's baby is in trouble, Marlin immediately panics, but Crush gives the kid a chance to get back in himself, and he does. We all know that Crush would rescue his son if need be.
Why are you
On the
giving
other
us random
hand,
images?
Gil
Show us the scene you're
expects Nemo
talking
to be able
about.
to do everything himself and forgets how young Nemo actually is, at least until the end. In the meantime, Nemo truly gets to learn what he's capable of when not being restricted by his father, and eventually the two come to a mutual understanding as father and son. Alice in Wonderland is a lot of
Oh,
math.
really? That was
While
it?
The world of Wonderland
Yeah.
is pretty
What?
much meaningless.
So that was
What the fuck is this vid? What the fuck is this video?
You know,
That's the most milquetoast take of Finding Nemo I've ever heard.
So
No, just literally this is the plot of Finding Nemo. Nemo. Yes. That's a subliminal message, isn't it? No, that's the plot.
Yeah, exactly. That was just the plot. Yeah.
Can we cover the video where Dory is like a criminal mastermind trying to keep Marvin down or something?
this could be really really dumb, or it could be really entertaining and dumb. I don't know. It's gonna be.
I can't wait for him to talk about Alice in Wonderland. Hold on, he's talking about Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, is it? Oh, hang on. What's this one? Alice in Wonderland's a lot of
Maths.
maths. Or Oh, I thought you said meth.
Maths.
I thought you said meth.
M-A-T-H-S.
Math.
Because I'd agree. I'd agree with a lot of meth, though.
I don't. Hold on. No, Alice in Wonderland's a lot about math. No, it's nonsense poetry. Oh God.
No, maths. There's an S at the end of it.
Plural.
For some reason.
Some British bloke was like, "I'm gonna write good today," so he's gonna say,
I write good. So let's do all the math.
Good today.
All the math.
Me writed good today.
I'm gonna write good today.
Which
We're
gonna eat it right after the jams.
Carroll wrote the book as a satire of modern mathematics. What?
What?
Around the time of writing, there was a new way of thinking and far more advanced mathematics, using abstract equations such as algebra to solve more complex equations. While it makes sense today, at the time the idea was completely ludicrous. And Carroll, being a mathematician himself and an old school one at that, wrote Wonderland as a satire, mocking the idea of imaginary mathematics.
okay, fine.
No, it is not.
Where
that is factually wrong.
Where in the text does he make a reference to like numbers or algebra or whatever? This should be fine. If this is his claim, you just show it. Here's the point in the story where he attacks mathematics for being algebraic or whatever functions he's writing about. It's like,
also, can someone just take a screenshot of full screen of the Green Parrot about curb stomp Atlas?
This guy is wrong. Flat out wrong about Alice in Wonderland.
Smud, what you're saying is fine, Smud, about like trying to find like the hidden meanings in his books. We're talking about the movie, the animated movie here.
The movie, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this guy's talking about the book. He hasn't brought the movie one.
Yeah,
it's one thing to criticize the book or to dive deeper into the book, but we're talking about the animated movie.
I'm about to give you the deep dive into the book. Here's what the book is about. The book is a nonsensical story that he wrote for his niece. And that's as deep as it goes. She really liked it. Yeah. He got it published because other people really liked it. It's nonsense.
Whoa, what are you doing, man? Gig him, don't. You ruined the full screen. God,
I'm not even.
Damn it!
I'm sorry. That was an accident.
Also, I'm still waiting for your 4 points about Nostalgia Critic.
You on that? I'm sorry, Smud.
I'll get it.
I'm so sorry, Smud. Please don't.
So,
whoa! Oh my God, that's even worse.
It is actually 1 millimeter closer. It actually is 1 millimeter closer.
So I've been watching. I never heard of this show till recently. I've been watching Dark Place, which was this British comedy from about 10 years ago or so. And they make this joke where there's this new doctor who comes in who's a woman, and they keep beating the crap out of her at every chance.
Jesus!
Wow.
Dark
Place. That
sounds so funny.
Garth
Beating up a woman. So
Marenghi's Dark Place. It's absolutely brilliant. And I've been having a good laugh.
I saw it in the Smudcast discussion.
Oh, you did? Oh my God, it's absolutely brilliant. It has the guy.
I didn't click on it yet, but I saw it in there.
They obviously made it recently, like 10 years ago is recent, but it mirrors the concept in film grain of a show from like the 80s or the 70s rather.
I was gonna say that like it looks older than like 10 years ago. Like I would have said like 70s or 80s.
Oh God, it is. Zach and I were like, we were just laughing our asses off for an hour. This is so good.
I'll have to check it out.
Oh, it's brilliant. Anyway, that's just what this reminded me because she's also blonde as well. Anyway, never mind.
The real question is, can we get the foot any closer?
No.
I don't know. I'd say this is a pretty good distance right now.
I think he jumps over her at this point.
He jumps over her, if I remember the scene right.
Oh, he does? It still looks like he's gonna curb stomp her.
This is one of my favorite movies as a kid, so I think he jumps over her.
Yes, I feel that Crow watched this scene repeatedly.
Pro, what would be your genuine reaction? Pro, what would be your genuine reaction if the moment we unpause it, the parrot or whatever just starts brutally beating the shit out of her? Like, what would be your genuine reaction? You would have so many questions about your life.
I would not be able to stop laughing. I would be so happy.
Why can't like number 9 be the subliminal message is parrots like the curb stomp blonde? That could be it.
This is hardly subliminal. It's right there, right in front of you.
Yeah, no, but it's like. But deep down, all parrots are secretly wanting to curb stomp blonde, and that's
yeah.
Lewis Carroll wrote this down.
You're welcome. I ended up getting you a better screenshot.
Yeah. Oh, this is great.
All right, let's go.
Oh.
All of the characters Alice meets are just as crazy to the audience as the idea of all this new math is to Lewis.
There was just something funny about that one millisecond of
Disney film 2, whether they knew it or not, is also a satire of that same mathematics.
Wait a second. He's just saying because because the author didn't like math and was making fun of math in real life, he's now making a bunch of bizarre magical creatures that don't make sense and are dumb and crazy in Alice in Wonderland. Like, what?
There's no correlation.
That's a very specific claim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not. I've never once heard a thing about Alice in Wonderland being like anti-math or mathematical studies or something. No, it's always been a story that he just used to tell to his niece.
So a subliminal message has to be one subliminal. There has to be something that is underlying a certain behavior, or there's an underlying depth to something. It's like, okay, we could interpret this as X. And it happens so many times that your brain is not actively aware of that, but your subconscious is. So you're like, okay, yeah, there's something's going on here. This is them trying to tell us worship Satan or whatever the hell the dumb message is, right?
Hail Satan. Hail Satan.
That's what usually we talk about subliminal messages if you listen to this radio or this record backwards or whatever. Like, yeah.
Oh,
okay.
it's which Beatles song is it that it's you play it backwards? It's Paul is dead or something.
Which is stupid. Which is stupid because no one listens to.
Because it's well, if you read if it goes backwards, it actually says Ringo is dead, and people are really interested in Ringo. Yeah.
Wow.
No, I'm lying. This one, yeah. Carry
on. Dealing with racism.
That was it?
Here it is, guys.
It's hardly subliminal.
Here it is.
It's hardly subliminal.
It's right in your fucking. With that one, it's right in your fucking face.
They pretty much call it out in the movie.
Oh my god.
The title is Zootopia. What do you think is going to be in this story? A bunch of characters from a zoo.
Oh my god. I just love it gone from maths to racism.
To racism. It's all connected.
It's such a lame. I wasn't ready.
That's so stupid.
This is.
Let's see where he goes with this.
I want to see it, but I just wasn't
pretty
ready.
Character. Because society views Fox as nothing but sly scoundrels, he sees no reason not to just roll with it. Becoming a con man, Wilde is a character in a vicious circle of crime before the events of the film. It creates a world that reflects our own, but shows that it's up to the individuals to escape the stereotypes of their race, and to become more than a statistic. It also talks about public perception and the impact that prejudice can have on people's choices. While Zootopia itself was accused of being racist, it does a great job of showing a balanced view of prejudice, racism, and sexism in the workplace. Beauty and the Beast.
All right, so
okay, that was just quick.
There's lots of scenes in Zootopia where they're very sensitive about the language you use and to describe things, and like the guy was like, I think the guy at the desk of the police station was like, "Oh, you're such a cute buddy. Can I say that? Is that okay?" And she's like, well, not really, but it's okay. I don't mind. I was like, they're having this discussion. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, it's very, the crap you would expect if you were part of some sort of, I don't know, liberal mindset workplace teaching seminar or something like that.
Yeah.
So they have that in Zootopia. So they're very, very well aware of this concept of racism in language. It's not subliminal. It's in the dialogue.
I think probably the most blatant example of it was it's later on in the movie when Judy is riding on the train and she sees the mother bunny with her baby and she sitting next to the tiger and she pulls her baby close up to her away from the tiger. It's like, yeah, that's about as pretty blunt as it can get.
Yeah.
You know, she's being prejudiced against the tiger, the predator.
So in this example,
Making relationships.
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast. This is this is in the title as well. When you're talking about Beauty and the Beast, usually you're thinking about a romance story where you have this forlorn, reclusive fellow who's ugly and uninteresting or whatever to everyone else except this beautiful woman, and she's only interested in him or curious at least. And that's an allegory for relationships, sure, but it's not a symbol. It's not.
The title of the video is Subliminal Messages in famous Disney movies. These aren't subliminal. These are at face value.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this one and the last one certainly weren't. And Alice in Wonderland was just stretching.
You keep using that word. I don't think you know what it means.
It wasn't even stretching. It was fucking creating.
Yeah, I also can't take Beauty and the Beast seriously, because I always go back to Batman '89 with the Joker.
Oh yeah,
Beauty and the Beast. But if anyone calls you Beast, I'll rip their lungs out.
Yeah,
I've used that line before. I'm desperately single.
The Curious Reader.
But making relationships work, that's the main.
Yeah, this is number 8. I can't wait to see what the rest of them are. Is it number 8?
Yeah, this is number 7.
Number 7. Okay, so I want to see I can't wait to see what the rest of them are, because I know we saw Lilo and Stitch when Jinja jumped ahead a little bit by accident.
Yeah, Lilo and Stitch is proof that Hawaii should have been nuked in the 50s.
Damn.
Making relationships work. We all know that Beauty and the Beast is about the beauty inside and loving someone for their character and not just their appearance. But there's more to it than just that. While many have accused this movie of glorifying what is essentially Stockholm Syndrome, these people clearly did not watch the movie. Belle doesn't have Stockholm Syndrome because she only likes the Beast after he stops being an asshole. The movie is really about the Belle and the Beast learning to make the relationship work, with the Beast learning to respect her and putting his anger to one side, and Belle learning that there's more to him beyond his monstrous appearance. This is a pretty nuanced take on relationships that's very mature by adult standards, let alone something you see in a family film. If only more romance movies understood that there was more to relationships than beauty and hijinks. A Bug's Life.
That was good, but it wasn't subliminal.
Yeah, it wasn't subliminal.
The Power of the Little People. Oh, no, this isn't subliminal because it's literally spoken out.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, oh my God. You're giving us the basic moral of the story.
Yeah, but
I should have called this video 10 messages in famous Disney movies, not subliminal messages.
No, it should be 10 Disney plots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
But yeah, this is just literally, there's more of them than there are of us. If they start working together, they'll beat us. He literally has a speech about it. So it's not subliminal.
By James Woods.
Yeah, another one where it's literally right in your face.
Yeah, they spell it out for you.
Yeah.
People. It's like yet another remake of Seven Samurai. A Bug's Life also just like the movie.
More like the kids' adaptation of Seven Samurai.
Seven Samurai?
Oh God!
Did I ever get any kind of vibe of Seven Samurai in this movie? Seriously,
I just want to know
kind of see
who
what
was
he's getting at.
complained. Yeah, but where was this big complaint in society? Oh, not another remake of Seven Samurai. Haven't they done enough already? It's like, I've never heard anyone complain about.
I guarantee you, if you were to list off all the movies that were inspired by Seven Samurai, and then you told somebody, "Oh, all those movies were inspired by this movie called Seven Samurais," they'd be go like, "Wait a minute, there was a movie called Seven Samurais."
Seven Samurai, yeah.
Well, I got to see this movie now. It must have been really good to inspire all of these movies. You know what I'm saying?
But literally, you don't even.
Most people don't
Seven
know
Samurai
it's
is
based
such
on a Seven Samurai.
But Seven Samurai is such a basic story that you can't help but be inspired by it. That's the thing.
And I get what the guy's going for here. It's like it's a character that's going out into the world and recruiting people to fight against a bigger threat. This is the kids' version of that, obviously, and the people that he's recruiting are a bunch of wimps.
Yeah, but
bunch of circus folk.
Yeah, but it's been done before. But I wouldn't call it remake stuff. It's just
certainly not a remake.
It's just a trope of film.
Inspired by it at best.
Yeah.
I guarantee the pitch meeting for this movie was Seven Samurai, but as bugs.
I love it, Johnny.
Or the pitch meeting was just, shall we have some bugs do crazy adventures? Yes.
Yeah.
That's probably the pitch meeting. Hey, this looks like that famous Seven movie, Magnificent Seven, which most people would know.
Yeah. That one is very heavily inspired by Seven Samurai, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it?
That is literally an American remake of Seven Samurai, pretty much.
That's what I mean. That's the only legit remake of Seven Samurai that anyone would ever know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, any other story that would be Samurai is inspired by it, nothing more.
Yeah.
Just like the movie, it's on fighting oppression. Hopper and his gang keep the ants beaten up and in line to keep the grasshopper's way of life. It just takes one ant to stand up to them and start a revolution to overthrow the oppressors. The movie itself isn't completely subtle in its political opinions, seeing as Hopper more or less flat out says the film's message in a rant to the gang.
Oh my God, he even admits it.
Film with such a
but he won't show the clip.
message. And one that's also relevant. The Bug's Life uses the colony of ants because they are the workers, and combine the fable of the ant and the grasshopper with Seven Samurai to make a triumphant movie about the oppressed reclaiming their freedom. The Incredibles, choices that make you human. In a world filled with superpowers, The Incredibles tell a very human story. The movie is fundamentally about the choices that we make and how it reflects upon us as people. Despite having superpowers, the main character are heroes because of what they do. While Syndrome wants to give everyone superpowers to remove the idea of a superhero, he fails to realize that heroes will exist regardless. This is because The Incredibles are heroes because of what they do, not because of what they can do. A character like Edna doesn't have any
want to make
apparent
everybody a superhero?
But still, she uses her genius to create
He wanted to make everyone special so that no one would be.
This is in contrast to Syndrome himself, who, despite his similar genius...
The logic is that if everyone's on... His logic is that if everyone is on an even playing field, then everyone's just the same.
He's a superpower socialist.
Yeah,
of course, he was going to have his fun before then too.
He's a superpower socialist.
Exactly.
Well, the only message I got from this is Cape's bad, and that's it.
No capes.
True. That too.
Yep.
And that's what gets him in the end.
If everybody has superpowers, it's fair. And then the capitalist in me is like, but what if 7 people gain the ability to become a fucking nuke? How is that fair?
I mean, Cape's bad by this film.
Pencils, and then this guy is a nuke.
Yeah,
I mean, sure.
Go on, Gideon.
Cape's bad.
Didn't he become this
way
when he
go ahead.
was a kid? What was it that happened to him again?
He fell into a jet engine.
Yeah, it's like that's his death at the end of the film, but
he idolized
Mr. Incredible.
Mr. Incredible. Yeah. But Mr. Incredible works alone.
He said he didn't want like a child, sidekick. He didn't want a sidekick.
Yeah.
Well, ultimately, he didn't want to risk his life, but the way it came off was as a total dick.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the superheroes, if I remember correctly, the superheroes were kind of on their way out anyway because Mr. Incredible saved a guy that was going to commit suicide, and he actually got sued because of that.
Between that and the train ride after that, and a whole bunch of stuff the other supers did off screen.
Yeah. But I think that was like kind of
well,
the
straw that broke the camel's
wasn't
back.
Incredibles 2 a feminist movie?
Kind
saw
of.
the one.
Not really.
They just market it that
Never
way.
even watched it.
No, I never even seen them
marketed
marketed that way.
No, me neither.
It was just kind of a meh movie.
They didn't. I thought Mr. Incredible was relegated to the home taking care of the baby, and the whole movie was about Mrs. Incredible.
They wanted to bring Mrs. Incredible back.
Well, the first one was about him. The second was about her. What's wrong with that?
But he wasn't getting like national news. Like they wanted to bring her back into the spotlight. Into the public's eye. Whereas
because she would cause less damage.
He was working for the bad guy the whole time. He was working for the bad guy the whole time, and he didn't know it.
And so was her. So was she, kind of.
Well, yeah, but
also the main reasoning was because she would cause less damage with her particular power.
Yeah.
Even though it made complete and utter sense for it to be him in the spotlight, because what he did was the final nail in the coffin.
But see, that's what I don't know about. I don't know if that was a good idea. On one hand, I like the idea of humanizing Mr. Incredible, but on the other hand, I don't like the idea of relegating him to the sidelines.
Yeah, but I can understand if it was a matter of. Yeah, but then again, it makes sense from
the whole family. That's why it's called The Incredibles.
Yeah, but the main focus was him.
He produced a great meme though, where he's yelling at his son as they're doing homework. Math is math.
Except in Alice in Wonderland.
But anyway, it's like I can understand it not being him being the figurehead to bring the supers back just for the sake of not risking any more collateral damage. Because as we literally saw in the first movie, he's prone to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I really
then to be honest with you, there was a giant robot that was just destroying everything. So collateral damage was going to happen anyway.
Yeah,
I mean that's true.
The only thing I really remember
was
at the beginning.
I've never seen it, so I can't say anything about it. So
I've seen a little bit of it. I have to watch it again.
Yeah, I haven't seen the second movie. That's why I'm asking. Was it just marketed as feminist, or was it actually feminist?
No, it wasn't.
No.
Okay.
Seeing how the main villain is a woman.
That's spoilers, but that was meant to be a
Nobody
twist
cares
reveal.
about spoilers to a terrible movie.
Why would it be all women are villains?
It was fine.
It was.
I mean, we can agree.
Can we all agree that these aren't subliminal messages in Disney movies?
No, they're not.
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
that's why this discussion is way more.
Well, okay, look,
important.
we've already established that he misused the word subliminal, so let's just take the word subliminal and just throw it out. Let's just forget about it.
Yeah.
And let's critique other things that he's saying, and keep talking shit.
All right, let's go. Come on.
Yeah, let's keep going. Yeah.
Try to get revenge. The Incredibles is a very dark kids film that
I love that guy.
Issues, even
I love the
talking
ice
about
guy.
Suicide. While some were uncomfortable with it, you have to admire Disney and Pixar's
Sam Jackson, baby.
giving kids important life lessons while still entertaining. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, Accepting Your Roots. The most adult film on this list, Pirates of the Caribbean, is a great swashbuckling action film. It's not exactly deep. It just delivers on great action, a cool ghost story, an entertaining cast of characters, and 3 sequels. What you might have missed, though, is Will Turner's arc. While at first he denies that he has pirate blood, choosing to be a blacksmith, he over the course of his adventure comes to terms with his pirate ancestry. Similarly, Elizabeth Swan's father comes to accept that his daughter
we didn't know he was a
William
pirate's
Turner, even
son
though he is a
until like the
blacksmith
midway point of the
and a
movie, did
pirate.
we?
Accepting a heritage you're not proud of is something that you have to do.
Well, would he
if
be
you
an
don't,
exa-
it can
someone
eat
can
away
pause
at
it.
you. But Will accepts
would
it's
he be
not
an
something
example
he can
of a
control,
reluctant
and he'd rather
protagonist?
commit,
Because
and
hold
he
on.
does. We all know that Crush would rescue.
My God, man! Your aim is like.
Well, I'm on my phone. Well, excuse me, I'm on my phone.
Yeah, so am I. There's no excuse. Also, still waiting for your 4
There, we were right there.
Critic.
Okay.
So, anyway,
Stop phoning it in.
But anyway, to go back to the point, yeah, in terms of Will Turner, yeah, we didn't even know about his heritage until halfway towards the movie, so it wasn't as much of an arc as you would think it would be.
Yeah.
It's just an adventure. It's like, okay.
I love the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. It's a shame they're gonna suck now.
I like the first one.
It's
The rest of them
it's
after
a
that were just,
shame they're gonna suck now. Okay.
Oh, I've always loved those movies. I've always loved
The first movie is a classic, and it's a shame they
Yeah.
never made any sequels to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll always have the theme park.
That's what it was originally, I thought.
I love all of them.
Literally,
I was
literally
making a joke, Smud.
Oh.
The first movie is the only good one for you, Hawk. Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
like
it's
the
the only
first
good
one,
one.
too.
Yeah. Yeah, the first one's great. The first one's great.
I
All
love
the rest
all of
are
them.
just I literally can't stand. I can't stand them.
I brought them out of my mind.
Aren't they gonna be? So I hear they're making new ones where it's gonna be women only, like some weird feminist.
Well, at least a female protagonist. That I know for sure.
I honestly couldn't care that they really dipped in quality even after Dead Man's Chest was below the first one. It did the whole thing of it. It was a 2-part trilogy, pretty much, and I can't stand those sort of things.
Duology.
To begin with, and to be honest with you, the way the whole thing ended and what it did, it just felt like it ruined what Curse of the Black Pearl was. Curse of the Black Pearl is a perfect standalone movie. It's a great movie. It's wonderful. I can keep watching it over and over again. But the rest of them, it just feels like they all want to be Curse of the Black Pearl, but with they just all fall flat for me. I just don't don't enjoy them. Captain Jack gets samey. He just becomes the meme, pretty much.
Yeah,
he
becomes a joke.
Good. I love him.
No, but he just becomes like in Curse of Black Pearl. He's good, and he's actually fucking good. While in the rest of it, it's just like he's good because plot demands that he's good.
He becomes more of a joke as the movie goes along.
Yeah,
as the series goes along.
Will Turner just turns into a dickhead.
Oh yeah.
Who even though he knows, like, I'm going to save my dad. Bro, your dad's a half cuttlefish. What the fuck are you? There's nothing you can do about all this.
No, Hawk. Will Turner becomes a dick because he wants to save his father while abandoning his girlfriend, who he was trying to rescue in the first movie. That was his entire goal.
I was getting
and
to
he
that point. I was
abandons
actually
her
going to
because he sees her kissing Jack Sparrow as a part of a trap to keep him on the ship, which we're not going to go into. That's going to take too long.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, he abandons her just to save his father, who's already dead.
Yeah, who's already long dead, dead, and it's like, right, okay, so that's silly, and then it just, and then Elizabeth just becomes.
And then they get written out of the movie after that. What was it? Not Dead Man's Just.
Will Dunn.
Yeah, they're written out of the movie, and then they're like in the
fifth one.
stinger for Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Yeah, and it's just a bit like. And then Stranger Tides, it's like I just couldn't bother to get through that one. I got about 20 minutes in, I just thought, no, I'm not bothered. And then Dead Man's Chest, I was like, the series is just dead to me. And to be honest with you, I've never heard anyone say anything positive about it. In fact, I barely heard anyone say anything about it. It's like not even my normie friends saw it. And it's like, okay, if they're not even bothered to see it, then, and they'll go and watch anything. So yeah, the Pirates of the Caribbean series after Curse of the Black Pearl just became the meme of itself.
Yeah, and plus this is another example that this is not a subliminal message, like Will Turner accepting his roots. It's not a subliminal message.
No.
Again.
Yeah, we already established he misused the word
and
subliminal.
And he doesn't become a pirate. He doesn't become a pirate at the end of the movie either.
Because at the end of Curse of Black Pearl, he's just kissing Elizabeth, and like the military leave him alone. He's not a pirate. And then at the beginning of Deadman's Chest, he's arrested for shit. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
What the?
Moving on.
So, moving on.
Let's do it.
You're not proud of something that you have to do. If you don't, it can eat away at you. But Will accepts it's not something he can control, and he'd rather commit a crime and do the right thing than let a man who saved his life die. Lilo and Stitch, Pudge.
No, he wanted to save his girlfriend.
Pudge?
Like the Pudge?
What?
Hold on, wait, what?
What is Pudge?
Wait, who's Pudge? Who's Pudge?
Are we trying to say that Lilo's fat? No, that's Pudge. No, what's Pudge?
Well,
This isn't Pubger again, is it?
Oh my God.
That was great, by the way.
I actually want to listen to this one just because
Okay, let's listen.
Where are you going to go with this one?
Yeah.
We'll find out. We'll find out.
Everyone quiet. Go back.
You may not have noticed.
Go back. Start again. Start.
Start this one again.
Yeah.
Stitch,
There you go.
Pudge. While this isn't so much a theme like the others on the list, this is a sad little detail you may not have noticed. Lilo and Stitch is probably the saddest and most touching of all the Disney films. It's about a little girl who lost her family, and an alien who never had a family coming together. What you may have missed though is Lilo's obsession with making sure Pudge the fish gets a peanut butter sandwich. The reason she gives? Pudge controls the weather. This seems like just an example of Lilo's kookiness at first until you realize that Lilo's family died in a car crash caused by a storm. So, every week she gives Pudge the fish a peanut butter sandwich out of the childlike belief that this fish controls the weather and is in some way responsible for the deaths of her parents. The Little Mermaid.
Wait, hold on, what?
Subliminal. How was that subliminal? How was any of that subliminal?
I think he confused a child's belief in something, and this has nothing to do with the story. This is just one of her antics or whatever she does, because she does many things in the story. With what? Well, okay, he already knows subliminal is wrong. We already know that everything he says so far has been wrong.
Yeah.
So he's now putting into the realm of generic personality concerns or beliefs from children. This is not even related to an element in the story that is enacting upon the audience.
He literally just
in the character.
He literally just talked about a throwaway gag.
Yeah.
She's a
throwaway gag. That's it.
She has a quirky element.
There's no message in that. That's just exactly. It's just a quirk.
It's a little detail you might have missed. That's where that belongs.
Yeah.
Wow, this
The Little Mermaid making sacrifices for love.
Who wrote the usually
again not a subliminal
Who
message.
wrote this?
Usually the CBR.com articles come with a post, so someone wrote the post and attached a video to it. So I'm kind of curious who wrote this. Is it perhaps some crazy left-leaning female going through university? Or, I don't know, some unemployed fellow who's just trying to fill in some space on the internet?
Dictionary.com. Go look it up. Might help you out a lot.
This is
making sacrifices for love.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Message. That's the thing that
It's a plot point, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the major plot point, really.
Let's see where he goes with this one.
Is anybody else annoyed that the text doesn't match up with the blocks?
Yes. Yeah.
Now that you mention it, yes.
Oh
Now
my
that you
God.
mention it, yes.
Way to go, Yokai. You triggered my OCD.
It's quirky. It's quirky in the same way that I'd like to put
like the text looks like it's fucking falling out. Like it's gonna fall out.
Yeah. Even the text can't be bothered.
It can't be bothered to stay on straight.
It's like that. Well, a job's a job.
I think it was on purpose because they wanted to make it look 3D, but it just looks awkward to me.
It looks stupid.
Making spices for love. This isn't so much a hidden theme, but The Little Mermaid had a tough time. Not
really,
because she was a voice in an attempt to find love, but
So wait a second. So it's not a theme. I don't care if it's a theme or whatever. How is it
He
subliminal?
even admitted it. He even admitted it. He said, "This is not so much a hidden theme." It's like you admit it.
You admit that you're
You
wrong.
admit you are a fool. Haha.
Got him.
You're a stupid.
I feel like this is a scene like a Phoenix Wright game. It's like objection. He admitted that he does not know what this word means. Oh no.
But even once she
what
does
a
it, decides to give up her
terrible
tail and the
video.
ability to live underwater. A lot of people are critical of this aspect of the movie, as they feel it teaches girls they should give up everything for a guy. But we're not sure that's
They
true.
should do.
Ultimately
No.
in life, we all have to make sacrifices for the people we love. And to say that this is a bad message to give children is pretty cynical. Ariel doesn't change who she is, and the prince never asked her to.
I think she's dead. By
The
the way.
Lion King.
You see,
is
so
something
again,
different.
Really?
that's the second time.
She doesn't change?
Hold on a minute. Like,
I have
that I do like. I do like that, how what he said about Little Mermaid and what he said about Beauty and the Beast, how he didn't take the left wing route. He's like, people that think that are wrong. I like that he said that.
Okay.
I do
Something
like
that he at least did something right with that.
But that's still like whatever. Also, Lion King accepting responsibility. Oh, fucking hell.
I have a bad feeling about this one already.
That one is. This one is.
You're
why
just
the
now
text
getting
looks
that
weird?
feeling?
You know why the text looks weird? If he wanted to make the text look 3D, he had to make the word shadows a different color from the blocks, not just make them stick out. It's weird.
This whole video is just who
Stupid.
told us to go through this video?
That was me.
Who put this video? It was you. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it was me.
Kick him out.
Come out. The golf gloves, everyone.
Mhm.
You know,
I'm
I
just
skipped.
gonna remember.
I skipped doing a 20 or 30 minute video on why Joel was bad in the first Last of Us game.
In the first one? Why is he bad?
Yeah, because he killed all those
What?
people.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
So we're not doing that, thankfully. So yeah.
Thankfully.
That makes
I
us
hate-
feel a
I
little bit
just
better.
hate the
We're
world
doing
we
this
live in.
instead.
Yeah.
I really do hate the world we live in.
Yeah, we're not doing that one yet.
I'm gonna look for a video that, like, I'm gonna say, like, why Godzilla is a Marxist.
If you find out, let me know.
Well, why Godzilla's a Marxist? So it's easy. He destroys civilization.
Yeah, he's gonna find the
He
video
causes
and it's
lots
gonna
of
say
death
by
and
Yokai
destruction.
Zero.
Yeah, but no, Godzilla is a Marxist. He does. He kills loads of people, destroys civilization, and everyone's
Depends on the
worse
one you're
off for it.
watching. Depends on the one you're
Depends on the
watching.
one you're watching.
I can't believe we're actually debating. I'm done. No,
Yeah,
I'm done.
that's right, he
We're
fights a
actually,
robotic
this is
version of
actually
himself that's
happening.
made by
This is actually
capitalism.
happening. I'm done.
Yeah.
Industrialism, Godzilla, Mechagodzilla is
We're
a
actually
representation of
having this
industrialism, which is the product of capitalism. Godzilla destroys this
Yeah.
every time he fights him.
And
You're
speaking
gonna
of
make the
Godzilla, I
claim
just
that
want...
even when Godzilla defends the Earth, he'll throw the enemy into a building because he doesn't support cap. Get the fuck out. This is stupid. I'm done.
Yeah.
Yes, you see, it's because it's
You know,
a pro-green
don't
message.
start fighting.
And Godzilla's trying to push forward
I've
by
had half of
destroying all
mine
these
to.
power.
This
I've
is
had half.
shit.
I've had half of mine to suggest a Confused Matthew video, but they're all just so old. It wouldn't matter.
And he goes up against the military, which is a clear statement on getting rid of the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
Why the hell? Why the hell would Godzilla care about the
Shut up! Don't make sense
Constitution?
now. I'm on a roll.
He cares
Why would he care about the
inner city black
Constitution
kids.
if he's Japanese?
He cares about inner city black kids. That's why.
Godzilla's
That's why
Japanese. He wouldn't care about the Constitution anyway.
You see, the military is constantly attacking
I would've said
Godzilla and the other
Godzilla
monsters and
supports
aliens because they're
demilitarization.
xenophobic.
All right.
Yeah, anti-militarization.
Let's move on.
Let's go.
We got 40 seconds.
Responsibility. It's a little weird that the most iconic song of The Lion King is the antithesis of everything the movie is about.
Yeah, it's because of a bad movie.
While The Lion King has more than a few plot holes, it's still a
More than a few?
You got-
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of plot holes. It's not a great movie.
Responsibility.
Yeah.
While Simba
People
would
cry
rather
straight
live out in
up.
the jungle minding his own business, it's up to him to overthrow Scar and take his place as the king of Pride Rock. We all know that the plot of the movie is based loosely on Shakespeare's Hamlet, but Simba is driven less out of revenge.
It's not!
and more out of
No, it's not.
It's not! God, only stupid fucking retards think it's
Claudius
based on Hamlet.
in Hamlet usurps his brother's throne the same way Scar in the Lion King.
Oh my God!
Okay, Claudius.
He throws his brother into
Claudius was
a canyon of wildebeest.
He was jealous of his brother's wife and his power, so out of lust and ambition, he poisons his brother, takes his wife, and assumes the throne. I don't think Scar is jealous of Simba's Mufasa's wife.
Yeah. No.
And
He would
plots
also be
to
his sister,
poison
so.
him.
Yeah, he just simply hates his brother and will do anything to get rid of him. That's it.
Right.
And ironically, as well, Matthew Broderick voices Simba, and Matthew Broderick was in a Godzilla movie, which shows that Lion King
That's a lot of
is
fish.
anti-capitalism.
Yes,
that's a lot of fish.
It's anti-capitalism. Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of fish. I remember.
If
that.
I remember correctly, yeah, go ahead.
Uh-huh. No, continue. You were on a nostalgia thing. Exactly 10 minutes.
No,
you about
shut up. but yeah, if I remember correctly, it's like in terms of the whole Hamlet thing, I think there was an honest trailer for Lion King, and in the commentary video for that, I think the director of that movie outright says there isn't any connection. There's some coincidences, but there's no connection whatsoever.
The Hamlet thing came from a fake essay that someone wrote, I think, years ago.
Yeah,
as like a parody, and pseudo intellectuals took it as fact, and because all these people who mention Hamlet, they've never read Hamlet. All these people who mention Shakespeare, they've never read Shakespeare.
Wait, Hawk, why'd you leave the watch together?
Why'd I leave the watch together? Still in the watch
It says you left.
Does it? Oh well, that's a shame. Anyway, I'm still here talking. Oh no, I'm gonna miss 10 seconds of The Lion King. Okay. Oh no. Fucking whatever will I do? But yeah, the people who make these videos and mention Hamlet and like the Macbeths and the Richard III's and stuff, they have no idea what happens in any of these stories. I mean, because number one, Hamlet. What's the famous line in Hamlet?
To be or not to be?
Yeah, and then there's also
there's lots of lines.
Alas, poor York, I knew thee well.
I knew him, but that's not it.
A man of jest.
No, it's Alas,
Long live the king.
I knew him. I knew him, Horatio. That's the line.
Yeah.
It's not. I knew him well. So this is what I mean. These people know the memes and the pop culture things of Shakespeare, not actual Shakespeare.
It's like people that say, "Luke, I am your father," even though Vader didn't say that. He said, "No."
Yeah. So when people say Lion King and Hamlet, it's like the reason people say Lion King and Hamlet is because years ago somebody made a joke about Lion King being like Hamlet, and they took that as it being fact. So yeah. So whenever someone mentions Hamlet, I'm just like, no, this is stupid and ridiculous.
I'll bet good money was Nostalgia Critic that made the joke.
Yes, he did make that joke.
He made the joke, but he didn't invent it.
Yeah,
I know.
This has been around since the 90s, so I think it might have been an early internet joke or something. I don't know. When you could post anything on the internet and people took it as fact.
People still do that.
Yeah. So today, basically.
But nowadays it's more so. Nowadays it's more so to weed out the idiots from the actual people.
Yeah, back in those days, you literally could post anything on a blog or anything, and people would take it as this must be fact because it's like an internet myth and everything. But yeah, the only subliminal message I can see is idiots believe they know Shakespeare when they actually don't.
All right,
you can
we have
continue playing
20 seconds left. Less than 20 seconds.
We're going to pause 5 more times.
Sense of duty to family. The Lion King never presents revenge as a positive thing and keeps the feud between Simba and Scar about what he has done to the Pride Lands, rather than the murder of Simba's father. That's all we have time for today.
Okay. Wow. Also, by the way, I am still in the
video in the thumbnail. The movie
you are,
in the
yeah.
thumbnail, rather. He did.
What video in the thumbnail?
What? Did he
What's the
even
video in
do
the
the movie
thumbnail?
that's in the thumbnail? I forgot the name of it.
What's
No, he did not do Moana.
He didn't do one. Then why is it?
Oh,
It's
yeah,
a very
Moana,
clickbait
yeah,
image
yeah,
of
no,
Moana where
Moana,
them
yeah.
looking
I
at each
didn't
other,
even
and
see
an
the
arrow
thumbnail.
pointing down at Maui's crotch.
It's
Oh,
clickbait.
so
It's clickbait. It's clickbait.
Yes, it is.
Wow. What a terrible, terrible video.
Well, it's CBR. What do you expect?
How much time did we put into that one? Another hour?
Keep in mind, CBR is the same people that like the Batwoman series.
Just remember, if we ever have a problem,
why
we
wouldn't
blame
you
Hawk.
like the Batwoman?
Why'd you do
wouldn't
this
like
to
the
us,
Batwoman
Hawk?
series? Why wouldn't you like the Batwoman series? It's excellent. It's pinnacle
Yeah,
television. It's
ban this man.
It's like, honestly,
No.
honestly, I don't understand why we even had a Batman to begin with when we could have a black woman. But now we're having the white woman back again. So black woman goes, oh,
Dude,
my head.
it's like back in the golden age, they literally put in a Batman, a Batwoman, and a Batgirl. It's like, or think with back when during the whole seduction of the innocent bullshit.
No.
It's like they realized, yeah, this isn't working. Get them the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Well, back in the day, Batwoman was actually Batman's girlfriend or something like
Aunt.
that. Whatever.
No one cares.
Nerd.
Exactly, no one cares.
Thank you.
All right. Well,
Brutally, nobody cares.
Those are two
Exactly, that's
really.
my point.
One was the first video was fine. It's just his points were not really accurate and didn't have very good arguments.
Yeah.
The second one was just dumb. It's just like wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Wrong.
Dumb
I'll
and
give
dead
the first
wrong.
guy-
Yeah.
I'll give the first guy
Dumb
credit.
and pointless.
He's better than the second video. So
And he was independent. This is a whole company.
yeah.
A whole company doesn't know the meaning of the word subliminal.
Yeah, well, anyway, hopefully next time we'll have a bunch of other votes coming in for the next Smudcast because, oh my God, they were bad. They were just not watchable. Like, you think these were bad? Those were just...
Please watch. Yeah, please watch the videos before you send them to us because some of these, it's just, we're just sat there going, what the hell is this? There's nothing here. The title sounds great, but the video turns out to be nothing what the title said.
Yeah.
So,
and I think we should start getting away from Last of Us videos. It's said and done. It's said and done.
It's
okay.
Very straightforward, and people who like it for the exact same reasons that people dislike it. It's very strange.
And we've covered it from every angle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
pretty much.
Upside down, inside out, back to sideways.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna call it. I don't think we're going to do another one. That was long enough and stupid enough. So, enough crazy for the day.
Yeah.
So thanks, guys. I appreciate the recommendations and sitting through all this, and hope you guys have a nice Sunday. I've had a great one so far. Things are looking back up, and life is nice.
Oh, my Sunday's over now. So it's
that's
Monday
right.
morning.
That's true. Okay. Thank you, Hawk. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you real soon. Hopefully tomorrow, unless we have another problem with voting and I just skip the day for doing a Smudcast because it happens. But what can you do? I cannot force people to come into the Smudcast unless they want to come themselves. It's like, why do a video no one likes? Like, no. Okay.
Hey, I wish I could, but I got work,
Exactly. We got stuff to do. So thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you real soon. Have yourself a great evening or morning.